Hey guys, I'm out here today. I'm going to talk about sales. So as you guys know, right, we often, when we're doing like a sales meeting, we often divide things up in like intro, discovery, transition, pitch, close. And like thinking about that and having like a good framework, it will create a good strategy and it will create a good mindset for you. And like that's important. That's one part of it. And if you don't have that, then you're probably not moving in the right direction. But the other part of it, it's like having the in-person skills to then fulfill on the strategy in the right way. And it's like a different thing, because one is like more the overarching strategy, and then the one is like the actual, street skills, or whatever you want to call it. Like it's like in-person interaction, right? And so you need to practice that a lot. Thinking about it can help sometimes as well, like in this specific like mini circumstance, when someone said this thing, like how do I handle that objection, or how do I handle the way that this person reacted in a good way. Those are like all like the mini things that will add up a lot, and those things can really build your sales personality over time. But by itself, these things won't do much. Like these are things that need to compound one by one and create like stronger strategy over time. So yeah, you need to do that, but realize it's like something that's going to compound over time and make you into a better salesperson and a better communicator, right? The quickest wins are probably like having a good script, having a good strategy in place. They're probably the quickest wins, but at some point, you've got your strategy, you've got your way of dealing with things, and then there's going to be diminishing returns of like only thinking about that side. You still need to be like in person and doing the nitty-gritty like in-person skills. So it comes down to being present in the call itself, being present with the person. It comes down to feeling what's in your body when you're speaking to your prospect. And sometimes also just, internal management is also a big part of it. But it's more so internal management about the communication that matters. Right? The way that you are feeling and the way that your prospect is feeling, the way that you're perceiving his feelings, the way that you think he is perceiving your feelings, like these are actually like probably like one of the most important parts of like doing, because a lot of sales is like internal. It's a lot of like confidence, and if you can deal with your handle your emotions in like a strong way and handle it in the right way, that's going to have a good impact, and people are going to feel that. And so I'm reading this book by Jeb Blount, the guy that wrote Fanatical Prospecting, Objections. But I'm reading his book now about sales EQ, so emotional intelligence quotient. And a lot of things in sales at the end of the day, like it comes down to like, does the prospect have a good feeling about me? Yes or no? And oftentimes that's, especially in B2C, like that's definitely probably more important than what the product itself does, at least like in a sales meeting. But even in B2B, it still plays like a very important role, right? If they don't like you as a salesperson, as a representative of your company or the representative of someone else's company, they're much less likely to buy. Because like even if you're the representative for someone else's company, they're gonna say like, well, if this company like this person as like a representative, then that might not say good things about the company. So, you know, it can depend. So yeah, but like there's a lot of things to it, you know. So having the strategy, it's one part, having the right mindset, but then also like having the in-person skills, the nitty-gritty. Just like when you're speaking to someone, every time you're feeling like something doesn't feel right, zoom in on that internally. You can do that while it's happening, but especially like after it's happening, think about it, feel it out, and find a solution to that mini problem there. Like maybe you're struggling to find your pace in the conversation. Maybe you're struggling to take control of the conversation. Maybe you often have the situation where like prospects talk too much about like unrelated stuff, and you want to kind of like interrupt them or guide them back. Find a way to do that. Like all these like mini skills, they're like super important, and like they will compound and they will make you a much stronger salesperson. So, you know, that's a lot of it. But then also you can't focus just on that, because at the end of the day you still need to have like a business strategy, you still need to have like a product strategy, and you need to be explaining that to people as well, right? Because you're not selling like a you know, a meeting with a person, you're selling like a product or a service, right? So you gotta take that into account, right? So a lot of it depends on those things. What else can I talk about? Like I'm working on my pitch right now. Like even though pitch is not the core of like sales, the core of sales is discovery. The core of sales, it's like, you know, discovery is like finding their pain points, getting them to open up to you, to talk about why they're there, why their service would help for you, why they need your service, why they need your product. This is what the discovery is for. This is what you're trying to delve or like work with them onto. And that's the most important part. But if you don't have a good pitch, then you're working suboptimally, right? If your discovery is perfect, you're probably going to close, even if you have an average pitch. And it doesn't work the other way around. If you have a perfect pitch but a you know, a bad discovery, you're probably not gonna close the person. So pitch is less important than discovery, but it's still important, and it's still something that can give the prospect more confidence. Like especially if your discovery is like average and they're like, you know, well, maybe this will work, maybe this won't. If you then have a good pitch and you can transfer like confidence about your product, that's gonna make a big difference, right? And they might change from, you know, maybe to, you know, probably might want to try it. That's what a good pitch can do, and that's what I'm working on with my mentor, or one of my mentors. And some things I can give you there is like make the pitch presentable. So you could have like a PowerPoint presentation. I think you need to be careful with that. I think the best thing is to either have that, but be careful and be brief with it, or just skip it completely. But if you don't, like, you still need like sort of like pillars for the pitch. You need to have like sort of a script for it that you then tailor to the situation of the prospect. You need to have a script because it needs to be fluent in your mind, but then you also need to be able to take whatever the prospect is dealing with and like put that in your pitch, so that you can, you know, it's not just our product work like this and this and this, but our product works like this, and that's going to help you with your specific problem, and that's going to help them a lot better. So that's one thing. The other thing, so have a script for it, have a good script for it, be confident while you're saying it. make it like realistic, because as they also say in like copywriters and things like that, like you know, just proving like good things, or just like claiming that your product or service like will do good things, doesn't necessarily make like good copy, or doesn't necessarily make a good script. It's like, yeah, you need to have like good claims, but you need to be believable. And a lot of things, I'm working with my mentor on that. A lot of things, like, you can be realistic, but it doesn't mean that you have to make it like a negative perception, right? Because you could say it like in two different ways. You could say like, hey, you know, you shouldn't expect that you're going to get results right away with this, because usually this takes like 3 months before you can see the results. So you need to have patience. That would be like one realistic way of framing it, but there's a rather negative way of framing it. And then you could also have like a more positive way of framing that, where it's like, yeah, you know, obviously, you know, we need to be realistic here. Some companies might promise like, you know, the world, and obviously that's not going to be realistic. But we can see that like from the first month, we're going to get this results and this result. And if we do work together as like a good team, and we can support each other, and like we have the right communication in place, then you will see the results. You know, you will see the results, the initial results fast, and then as you grow into like the second phase, then you will start seeing like more tangible, like long-term results, and then you will see like it really compounds in your business over time as well, right? So obviously we need to be realistic, but as long as we have like a good communication, then you know, you're gonna see good results from this. So, you know, keep that in mind. And then like that's really what I wanted to say to you guys today. I hope that you you know, learned some things and enjoyed the video, and I'll speak to you guys next week. Have a great day. See you. Bye bye.